Zara Barker has some new information tonight on the victim as police try to determine exactly what happened. Zara?
Right now, authorities are still searching for the two shooters involved in this deadly shooting, but tonight authorities were able to identify the innocent victim.
It's really unusual and it's very tragic.
Authorities have now identified 46-year-old Kristen Whitted as the woman who was shot and killed while driving southbound on Interstate 170 Monday afternoon.
Anyone is a victim of a crime like this, but especially tragic when you have somebody who's just going about their daily business, just doing something that everyone, you and I, everybody does every day, is traveling on the highway.
Police say two suspects in separate passenger cars were shooting at each other from Page to I-64. That's at least a mile and a half. A bullet then went through Whitted's passenger side window and the two shooters drove off. Our Bommarito Automotive Skyfox flew over the scene as authorities investigated.
I think it's pretty remarkable that more cars weren't hit, although it's tragic that even one person is injured.
Police say Whitted was alone in her SUV and no one else was injured.
From what I know, a really great person and very well loved by her family and her friends.
Her family says, quote, Kristen always strived for more knowledge, wanting to know more about everything, never settling on just the surface of a situation. She always got the most out of everything. It showed in her job and her cooking. She never stopped and never settled, always moving and taking others along with her. It made it easy to open up to her. She was always available and gave an ear to all.
Give us a call if they think of something that they saw that was unusual yesterday. As minor as it may seem to them, we don't mind following up.
And anyone with even the smallest bit of information, or if you were driving along 170 around 3 o'clock this afternoon and saw a vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed, you are asked to call authorities or Crime Stoppers to stay anonymous. Live from Olivet, Zara Barker, Fox 2 News.
We have some breaking news I want to tell you about right here on News Now from Fox. Here's a live look at Detroit, Michigan. We are learning as a result of our sister station, Fox 2 Detroit, is reporting that shots were fired at a police precinct hitting a squad car. So I want to read you the latest here. We just missed a live report. A large police presence has converged outside of Detroit precinct following reports of someone shooting at the building. Michigan State Police say a person began firing at the Detroit Police Department's 5th precinct from his vehicle around 5:30 this morning. The shooting turned into an active scene and police are asking people to avoid the area of Connor and Mack streets. If you are in Detroit or familiar with the area, that is the latest. Police say at least one scout car was struck and officers closed down the area. A tweet from MSP says officers had not yet taken the individual into custody as of 7 o'clock this morning. The road closures may impact commutes to the FCA engine plant located nearby. That Twitter account, if you want to continue following it, is at MSP Metro DET for Detroit. At MSP Metro DET. That's the MSP Metro Detroit Police Twitter there.
And Baltimore County Police are investigating a shooting at a gas station in Woodlawn. Happened last night at the Carroll Fuel Station along Liberty Road. Officers say when they arrived at the scene, they saw evidence of a shooting, but no victim. Well, the victim was later found at an area hospital and is expected to recover. Investigators believe that the shooting may have been targeted.
Morning, a man is in the hospital after an overnight shooting. This happened in Erlanger just before midnight on Greenfield Lane. Police say a man in his 30s was shot once in the leg. He was taken to UC Medical Center where his injuries are non-life threatening. Police were using canines to search for a suspect, but that was later called off.
Police say a 19-year-old died after being shot inside a North Philadelphia convenience store. 3 people were shot in total inside the store on North 22nd Street around 11:30 this morning. The 19-year-old who died was shot in the chest. Another man was shot in the stomach, and a third was grazed by a bullet across his nose. Those 2 men went to the hospital and were initially listed as stable. No word on any arrests at this time. Katie Johnston for CBS Philly.
Right now, Milwaukee police are investigating a fatal shooting from overnight that left a 17-year-old boy dead. Police tell us it happened just before 9:30 last night near 91st and Appleton, and officers are trying to figure out just what happened here. We are told the 17-year-old died from multiple gunshot wounds while being taken to the hospital, and police say if you do know anything about what happened, to please give them a call.
A man was injured in a shooting in Owings Mills that stemmed from a robbery. Baltimore County Police say it happened around 8:14 Wednesday night on Beaverhead Circle and Hiawatha Court. The victim was found nearby, shot in the lower body, and he was taken to the hospital, but the suspect got away with some of his belongings.
We have new information tonight on the officer-involved shooting in downtown Bakersfield Monday. Bakersfield police still investigating, and 17's Perla Shaheen has been talking with witnesses today. She joins us live now from the scene of that shooting on Truxtun Avenue with the latest. Perla, good evening.
Well, there's usually traffic on Truxtun Avenue, but last night this road was jam-packed with cars, police, and paramedics after the shooting. There were many people working and living nearby who heard the gunshots and told us what they saw. The shooting happened just after 3 p.m. yesterday. Bakersfield police says a man attempted to steal a road construction loader from workers on Truxton Avenue, right by Mercy Hospital.
They were shot right here. I was right here.
Brian was one of the workers on the road when the man allegedly tried to steal the loader.
The guy who I thought was in the machine is walking towards me saying, "Oh, do you know the guy who's in the machine?" So I thought it was you. And he's like, "No, he just threw me out of my own machine and dumped all the stuff on the street."
At first, construction workers thought the man was part of their crew.
We go stop traffic because we thought he was with us. He was dressed like us. Like, you know, he had them just look like a regular worker.
Witnesses say the man struggled to drive the construction loader. BPD says he abandoned it and got into a red truck nearby, but they don't know if it was his car. He drove around the area a few times, and then 2 officers confronted him. That's when the shooting began.
When I believe the person has a firearm.
Can you report the possible shot fired? Unit 1.
Multiple witnesses say they heard at least 7 shots.
And then all you hear is pop, pop, pop. By the time I got to the corner, you see the cop with his gun. He's like, "Put your hands up." Like, bro, I'm pretty sure you just shot him about 9 to 14 times. I don't think he's putting his hands up. I even yelled it.
Police haven't confirmed whether the suspect was armed, but witnesses say they saw the man with a gun and believe he shot at police.
From what everyone's telling me that was closer, that yeah, he had a gun and he shot twice at a cop.
Gilbert Howell was on his balcony when he heard the gunshots.
It did sound like he had a smaller caliber round compared to the officer's rounds, and obviously he shot a little bit slower. Officer shot pretty quick.
Police wouldn't say how many shots were fired or how many times the suspect was hit.
Shots fired. Expedite medical aid.
An ambulance arrived within minutes and transported the man to a local hospital. BPD says he's in critical condition. One officer also had a minor injury that was treated with a first aid kit. BPD says the 2 officers were wearing body cams and they'll release that footage soon. In downtown Bakersfield, Perla Shaheen, 17 News.
Now to that shooting in Sterling Heights. Bystanders looked on in shock and fear as a man fired multiple times into an SUV, hitting a woman inside.
Well, we're told her injuries are not life-threatening, but we first showed you this video last night at 11. It's been getting a lot of views on social media. All of this unfolding at the Park Place condominium complex just off Metro Parkway between DeQuinder and Ryan. Victor Williams reports it happened with several people watching and children playing nearby.
Well, the Sterling Heights neighborhood is the last place you'd expect to find such a violent shooting, but unfortunately it's the sad reality these residents are dealing with, and here's how it all played out. What you're hearing are the blood-curdling screams of someone seeing a loved one being shot multiple times at the Park Place condominium complex.
We heard the shot, like 6 shots, and there was a woman yelling. It was kind of scary for us.
Police are saying the woman was targeted by a man who, before the shots rang out, was sitting in a pickup truck. As the young woman gets inside of a black Range Rover and backs up, the truck then pulls off, stopping just before a collision, and then in just a split second, nothing but gunfire. A camera in the window captures all of the incident as the woman on the porch watches on in disbelief. Moments later, a car comes back and starts shooting again. The victim makes it away before the shooter speeds off. She was shot multiple times, but is expected to be okay. Right now, there is no clear motive, but police are saying the victim knew the gunman. Neighbors we spoke to are just surprised it happened in their otherwise peaceful neighborhood and that the shooter is still on the loose.
We got so scared because this is the first time, and it's safe, like kids are playing and the weather was good.
Now, we did try interviewing the victims to see what exactly they had to say about this horrifying experience, and considering the fact that this guy is still out there, they did not talk to us. So if you know anything, Sterling Heights police want to hear from you. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Breaking overnight, really scary moments outside the Shot Heaven bar in South St. Louis. That's because 3 people suffered graze wounds following a shooting outside the bar on Gravois and Eichelberger. It happened just before midnight. Police say all 3 injuries were minor. They are investigating, and it's not clear at this point if people were still inside the bar when the shooting happened, since the city of St. Louis requires bars to close at 11 due to the pandemic.
Atlanta police investigating 2 deadly shootings from overnight. The first one happening on Fairburn Road in southwest Atlanta around 1 a.m. A man in his early 20s shot multiple times. Police are looking at surveillance video to figure out what led up to the shooting.
Developing story, police are on the hunt for a gunman after 3 teenagers are shot in the street. CBS 4's Brooke Schaefer is live at Jackson Memorial Hospital, where all 3 teenagers are being treated this morning. Brooke, good morning.
Hey, Francis, good morning. The youngest victim here, just 14 years old. 2 other boys also brought to the hospital. They are both 15 years old. Francis, at last check, we're told all 3 of them were in critical condition. This shooting happened yesterday around 7:30 in Brownsville. This was on Northwest 51st Street near 22nd Avenue. Police tell us that all 3 of those teenagers were standing in the street when somebody walked up to them and pulled a gun.
Units arrived in the area in reference to a shot spotter alert. When they arrived, they identified 3 juveniles suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. This is a senseless and heinous shooting of 2 15-year-olds and a 14-year-old. Again, we're going to be asking the community, if you have any information in reference to this crime, please call 305-471-TIPS.
But as of this morning, police say they don't have a suspect description here. Again, 3 teenagers shot, a 14-year-old and 2 15-year-olds. If you have any information you think could help police here, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number, 305-471-TIPS. I'm live outside JMH. Brooke Schaefer, CBS 4 This Morning.